All right, let's jump into one of the most heated rivalries you'll find anywhere in sports. Real Madrid versus Barcelona. We're going to break down this versus podcast about them. And trust me, it gets into way more than just the games themselves. It's about identity, politics, even economics.
It's amazing how much this rivalry reflects Spain's history.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. The podcast's first episode dug into how Real Madrid became, well, kind of a symbol of central Spanish authority, especially back during the Franco regime.
They were like the establishment club.
Exactly.
And then on the flip side, you've got Barcelona, representing Catalonia and their push for independence, their distinct cultural identity. Being a Barcelona fan, for Catalans, it was like a way to express their nationalism, almost like resistance against the central government, you know?
So it's like every time these two teams face off, they're carrying all this history and symbolism on their shoulders.
Oh, absolutely. And it really all came to a head in the 50s with the fight to sign Alfredo Di Stéfano, maybe one of the best players ever.
Oh yeah, Di Stéfano for sure.
Both clubs were desperate to get him. It turned into this insane back and forth. Even the government got involved.
Wait, hold on, seriously. The government got involved in a player transfer?
Oh, yeah. It was wild. Di Stéfano actually signed contracts with both clubs.
No way.
Yeah, total chaos. FIFA had to step in, try to sort it out. After a ton of drama, he ended up playing for Real Madrid.
Barcelona fans must have been furious. I can see how that just made the rivalry even more intense.
Totally. It wasn't just about football anymore. It was about power. Who had the upper hand?
Right. And then, of course, Di Stéfano goes on to have this amazing run with Real Madrid.
Yeah.
5 European Cups in a row.
Yeah. It cemented their image, the establishment club. Barcelona and their fans, well, let's just say it didn't sit well with them.
Wow. Okay, so we've got this background of politics and power struggles, but the Versus podcast also got into how the rivalry shows up in their styles of play, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Barcelona, especially when Johan Cruyff was in charge and then later Pep Guardiola, they became known for total football. All about possession, passing, attacking, flair.
So for people who aren't like total football experts, what makes that so different?
Well, total football, it kind of blurs the lines between positions. Players are always switching roles. So on the field, it creates this fluidity. It's all about controlling the game through possession and movement, basically suffocating the opponent. You create chances through these intricate passing combinations.
So it's not just about having one superstar, it's about everyone working together.
Exactly. And this was the total opposite of how Real Madrid approached things, especially during their Galacticos era.
Ah, the Galacticos.
Ah.
Beckham, Zidane, Ronaldo.
Right. It was all about getting the biggest names, individual talent over a system sometimes.
Yeah. It felt like they were signing a new superstar every other week.
It was great marketing, for sure. Got them a huge global fan base, made them a ton of money, but it didn't always mean winning trophies.
Interesting. So you have these two philosophies clashing, the team versus the individual.
Yeah.
Tactical geniuses versus a galaxy of stars.
Exactly. And it's played out in some of the best matches ever. Like this past season in La Liga, Real Madrid had their new star, Jude Bellingham.
He's been incredible.
Oh, totally. But then Barcelona's got these young guys coming up, Lamine Yamal, for example, and their recent El Clásico match at Camp Nou, man, talk about intensity. It went right down to the wire.
All right, so we've got the history, the different styles of play, but what about the actual trophies? Who comes out on top when it comes to silverware?
Well, when it comes to, dominating in Europe, Real Madrid's kind of got it locked down.
So tell me, what makes them so dominant in Europe?
Well, just look at the Champions League. They've won it a record 14 times. That's almost double any other team.
Wow. 14 titles. That's wild. I guess they don't call themselves the kings of Europe for nothing.
Exactly. But of course, Barcelona fans, they'll be quick to bring up their legacy of, total football, especially during the Messi era.
Oh, yeah. Messi was like a football god in Barcelona.
Right. He completely changed things, led them to so much success playing the most beautiful football you've ever seen.
It's true. So it's not just about how many trophies, but also how you win them, right? The style.
Yeah.
The legacy.
Exactly. Now, domestically, Real Madrid still has the edge. They've got more La Liga titles.
But we heard earlier the Versus podcast talked about how Barcelona's been making a comeback lately under Xavi.
Yeah. Under Xavi, they seem to be rediscovering their identity, playing with that classic Barcelona flair. They even took back the top spot in La Liga this season for a bit. Shows you how competitive things still are.
This rivalry never ends.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they just push each other to be better.
And it's not just on the field either. This rivalry goes beyond football. It's in the boardrooms, the financials, everything.
Oh, right. The Versus podcast went into the money side of things.
Yeah.
It's a whole other level to this whole thing.
Real Madrid consistently ranks as like one of the richest clubs out there. They've totally figured out how to make money, build a global fan base.
I think I read somewhere that Real Madrid is worth more than some of the biggest American sports teams. It's insane.
Their Galactico strategy was definitely part of that. Signing guys like Beckham and Ronaldo, it wasn't just about what they did on the field. It was a marketing genius move. Boosted their brand and brought in big sponsors.
They understood the power of, like, global stardom before anyone else. What about Barcelona? They haven't always had that same kind of money, right?
No, they've had some tough times financially, but it's impressive they've still managed to stay competitive.
So how'd they do that? Keep up with Real Madrid, even with those challenges?
Well, they've used their history, their unique style of play, that deep Catalan identity. They've got diehard fans. Plus, they made smart moves, found some hidden gems in the transfer market, and developed young talent.
The Versus podcast said Barcelona actually overtook Real Madrid in social media followers.
Yeah, that's right. They've been really good at reaching younger audiences, doing these cool digital campaigns, showing off their up-and-coming stars.
So they're fighting back, but in a different way, using social media to connect with fans.
Totally. It shows they're adaptable, they get the modern football world. But at the heart of this rivalry, it's still the players, the guys who have become legends.
Yeah, we've mentioned a few, but let's get into those icons, the ones who shaped this whole story.
For Real Madrid, you can't talk about their history without Alfredo Di Stéfano. He was crucial. He established that early dominance, set the standard for the Galacticos to come.
And then there's Cristiano Ronaldo. He took the whole Galacticos idea to another level.
Ronaldo's impact was massive. Scoring machine, global superstar, helped them win a ton of trophies. Now it looks like Jude Bellingham's on track to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, Bellingham definitely has what it takes. And for Barcelona, Johan Cruyff's legacy, it goes way beyond what he did as a player.
Cruyff, he changed their entire style of play, both as a player and a manager. He established this philosophy that still defines Barcelona today.
And of course, there's Messi.
Messi, need I say more? He's a legend. His time in Barcelona was magical. It really felt like he shifted the balance of this rivalry.
Absolutely, a once-in-a-generation player.
Yeah.
He left his mark, that's for sure. Now it seems like Lamine Yamal is the next big thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see these younger players carrying the torch. But it's not just about the goals and the trophies, It's those little moments, the flashes of brilliance that make this rivalry so special.
Totally. Like that time Cristiano Ronaldo did that calm down gesture at Camp Nou, or when Messi held up his jersey after scoring that last-minute winner. Those are the moments you never forget.
They're bigger than the sport itself.
Yeah, they add this whole other layer of emotion to the rivalry.
And so we've got all this history, these incredible players, the passion. Where does this rivalry go from here? The Versus podcast called their last episode The Final Showdown. But we know it's never really over, right?
Yeah, it's like an ever-evolving story,
Yeah.
Each generation of players adds their own chapter.
They even asked in the podcast, who really wins in this rivalry?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And it's not just about who has more trophies, is it?
No, definitely not.
I mean, in a way, I think everyone wins.
Right. The players get to play against the best of the best.
The clubs are part of something truly legendary. I mean, this rivalry, it captures the whole world's imagination.
And then the fans.
Of course, the fans.
They get to experience all of it. The passion, the heartbreak, the unbelievable highs.
Yeah, they're the heart of it all.
It's funny. Thinking about the fans, maybe think about that last question from the Versus podcast.
What was that again?
They asked people to imagine, if you could see just one El Clásico match in person, any era, any players, which would you choose?
Man, that's a tough one.
I know, right? So many legendary games.
You want to see Di Stéfano back in the 50s with Real Madrid just dominating everyone?
Or the beginning of Cruyff's total football in the 70s?
Or how about Messi and Ronaldo going head-to-head? Every match was like a clash of the titans back then.
Ugh, so hard to choose. I'd be torn between, seeing Messi do his thing at Camp Nou.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Or Ronaldo silencing that whole stadium with one of his goals.
Chills. But it goes beyond the players, doesn't it?
Totally. It's about feeling that atmosphere, the tension, the energy, knowing you're witnessing history.
That's what makes it so special.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Real Madrid-Barcelona rivalry, we got to ask you the same question. If you could go back in time and experience one El Clásico, which era would you pick and why?
Let us know in the comments.
We're dying to hear your thoughts.
And until next time,
Keep exploring, keep learning.
and keep diving deep.